Nickel 9. C5 line J. Let's go. Put that old school. Yeah.
Hey yo, what's good with everybody, man? I hope everybody's having a productive day, feeling blessed, and like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. So it's a trip, right? Somebody shot it to me. I went and listened to it. Gonna do my reaction to it. But everybody knows Diablo from Banding, Sapo gang. And I've done videos about him. And I also did a cover when he got busted for the homicides in which that little domestic violence turned to a murder. That type of thing. And it's a trip. Everybody's talked about this individual. Now, mind you, I didn't know nothing about Diablo other than when I got the story and then somebody told me to do some research on him, right? But I do know about Mr. Criminal. Why? Marcelli was from Highland, California, I believe. Chica's gang. And he had his CDs. And I remember when he first pulled in, I was like, oh, my boy's still a Southsider. But we were on the SNY. We sailed up into Tehachapi. I was like, my boy's still a Southsider, man. He still got it in him, bro. He still blew down, huh? He blew down. All right. I can see what it is. Man, bump it. That's on you, bro. I don't even have Northern music, bro. And he let me slap it. And one day we got a happy card in the mail, which was a piece of paper full of cristal. And he was getting all geeked out. And I was like, nah, I'm straight, bro. I'm straight. I ain't chewing on no pieces of paper just to get lit for like 2 hours and then get frustrated. So he was writing his old lady a letter. He had got his property first. So I was like, hey, fool, let me slap some. And he goes, all right, man, go ahead. Fool, woo. And then I looked at it and I see Mr. Criminal was called Rider Music. And I was like, I was a writer at the time. I was like, no, not bad. Let me check this out. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I didn't know who Mr. Criminal was. Barely been learning about him here and there. Been seeing him all over social media, having his own record label. I was like, man, boy, dude, make things. And then I listened to What the Streets Created. Those were the only 2 albums that I ever heard of Mr. Criminal. Then I came out. People talked about him. I've been on his lives a few times. I've seen a lot of things that he talked about. You know, he had a crazy live, man. The way he designed it, the way his studio was. Dude has a lot of goals and aspirations for himself. And then when I seen him, I seen a video of him. He went live and he was in Dubai drinking champagne. And he was in a tux. I was like, man, whatever he's doing, man, he needs to teach game, bro. Like, I'm trying to make it to where I can be like, you know, I'm going to go to Dubai. You know, I'm going to look at this gold little tower. I want to walk these beach. You know, I want to drink, you know, goals and goals. So I don't know too much about him. Then I heard everything about him becoming a pastor or turning his life to the church, which I didn't even dive into that. Everybody made reactions about it. Every reaction I seen on Mr. Criminal, they're making fun of him, saying Trece was out to get him. He's going to church. He's becoming a pastor because Trece was out to get him. And Trece is dropping diss tracks, talking about, man, you can't run from it. Everybody had their own interpretation for Mr. Criminal becoming a pastor. Now, if that's the case, I just thought maybe he was just, you know, just going to go to church more. But he's still going to, but he dropped everybody on his label. Then another rapper went on American Cholo and said, man, whatever is in the dark is going to come to light. Watch, man. But he left Crime Family label as well. So Crime Family label has no artists that I know of, but I know they dropped a lot of music. They put on for a lot of people. He still has a big YouTube channel, and we all know that this dude right here, he was part of that Crime Family label. And you know, he's well known for his millions of views for Riverside County Roll Call. And then I listened to a couple of his music as I was doing videos about the individual. And that's when everybody shouted to me this morning. They were like, man, listen to this diss track. Now, me personally, any diss tracks, I'm a fan of diss tracks. I just listened to the Chris Brown one against Quavo, and then Quavo came back. You know, I'm just into it. I like to hear the wordplay. I like to hear how people just put people. I just like the whole dissing overall. I'm not going to do it ever again, but it's just, you got to be crafty and good with wordplay and real lyricism to diss somebody in a track. So when they shot it to me, they were like, hey, fool, Diablo's dissing Criminal. The only thing that sparked my attention, I was like, man, that wasn't they homies? Wasn't Mr. Criminal putting them on? Did they do music videos together? Didn't they collab with each other? Didn't they have a sign to his... Wasn't Diablo signed to his label, you know? So it kind of confused me why he would drop a diss track. The first thing that came to mind when I heard it, I was like, okay, so maybe he just wants some attention now? Or he got burned for some money? But nope, once you listen to the diss track, he's putting a snitch jacket on Mr. Criminal. Like, super bad. Now, I don't know how Diablo got caught. I know he got busted for that murder because his sister was undergoing domestic violence with her partner. Which, to me personally, I think that was a little too far and too extreme. You know, it sets a weird example, a bad example, and it tells everybody else, oh, bro, you hit my family member, I'm going to kill you. Like, you don't even have... I mean, it would have been suffice if you hit my sister and I just beat the brakes off you in front of her, make you apologize to her, then clean her, mop her house, and clean her laundry for like a month straight. Or, you know, something like that would have been cool. But, you know, he obviously picked up a weapon and domed dude, caught a body, just like his homie right here, caught bodies, shooting girls in the cemetery. I'm going to look into that story, man. That story kind of piqued my interest. You know what I mean? I'm really interested in that one. I'm gonna do my study on that one for sure. So that's what he gets busted for. So he got like 80 years plus 2 life sentences from what I've been reading about this individual. He's been known to politic in prison. He's been known to be with the functions. He's talked about being in riots with Norteños. I did a video about him being in riots with the whites. So he's what a gang member looks like. And he's what a gang member's supposed to be. So when he dropped this diss track, I didn't know what it was about. Everybody shot it to me in my DMs and they were like, man, slap it, bro. Slap it. And I slapped it. For one, he remixed a Tupac sample. And I ain't even gonna lie to you. I've never listened to a Diablo song like all the way through and through. You know, I just heard him real quick, you know, screenshotted some pictures. Just heard a couple of bars and I was like, all right, cool. For a diss track, it's clean. Now, I'm not supporting what he's saying. I'm not condoning what he's saying. I don't even know what he's saying is true. But the diss track is sick with it. Hella sick with it. And he's pretty much just outlining that this dude's on paperwork. You know, how is he living like this? Man, he's a sucker. You were supposed to be my brother. You name it. Now, the only thing I can say is this. You know, back in my day, if you had paperwork on somebody, that's the first thing you broadcast. Yeah, you're going to tell a couple of people and people are going to tell more people and then it's going to hit the streets and dude might hear about it, get heads up. And if it's false, he's going to fight it out. Or if it's true, you might just see him magically disappear. You know, like Lucky Charms, you know, he might just disappear. He might just go away. And that's how pretty much when you expose somebody to be a so-called snitch or a rat, that's proper procedure. That's proper protocol. I did it myself when people told on me in my case. I submitted the paperwork out there. I didn't even call nobody and tell nobody over the phone. I didn't write no letters. I was like, man, here's a copy of the paperwork. Man, you guys do what you guys do, man. Now you guys know, man. Don't bring them around. You can't trust them. I'm not tripping what you do to them, but I can't do nothing to them. I'm doing 15 years, you know. I'm just in here thugging it out with politics. There's nothing else I could do. So that's the standard protocol for somebody who has paperwork on them with their name written all over it in black and white. This guy, instead of just putting it all out there, decides to do a diss track. That's what makes it hard for me to like really accept what he's saying about Mr. Criminal. I don't know Mr. Criminal. I don't really care how people bashed his name for trying to turn to God or whatever decisions he's making in life. Because to me, whatever a man's decision he makes, if it's for the best interest for him, I don't care what it is. Even if it's turning to God and just leaving it all behind and changing your ways and your way of thinking and your practices in life, so be it, man. I encourage anybody, man. What you do what you got to do. Maybe that record label was just draining his bank account. Maybe these dudes weren't popping like they supposed to be. You know, maybe he had a hard time dealing with his artists. There could have been many things why a lot of these artists either left or fell off with that record label. Only they know. I haven't really seen too much put out on it. And for him to say, you know what, I'm gonna, you know, I didn't see nothing about him saying he was gonna be a pastor. I'll just tell you that right now. But if he is, he is, man. So what? You know, he's gonna preach the Bible. He's gonna preach the word. He's gonna do good for something, hopefully. So for this dude to come out and drop a diss track, right? I'm like, you serious? Like, you got enough time on your hands to write a verse, jump on the phone, have somebody record it, have somebody edit it and mix and master it, make a thumbnail, make a album single cover for it, drop it all over YouTube, promote it, dissing the hell out of this guy, but you ain't got no paperwork to prove what you say. And maybe the dude might be in jail bitter as hell. Like, man, I lost my life. You know, I lost my career. I had a rap career. I was going places. I was on podcasts. I was doing interviews. I was getting millions of views. Everybody in Riverside County knew who I was. My Vadio knew who I was. I was putting it down for Sapo gang, the Froggies. And sure enough, he gets busted. Committed a crime, being a criminal, being a thug, being the person that he wanted to be. That he portrayed himself to be all over social media. And maybe he's mad now that he lost his freedom. And maybe Mr. Criminal ain't coming through like money on his books, shooting him letters, shooting him packages, looking out for his familia. Maybe his family ain't getting residuals, the monetary that he has stacked up from his music. It could be a lot of things why this dude dropped a diss track on him. Plain and simple. But all I can say is if you're going to drop a diss track calling dude a snitch, if you had that much time to get on a cell phone, Because I didn't hear nothing about it being recorded over the phone, because I've been talking to people in prison and it still says you have a collect call. This is a global telling. It still says that every couple of minutes. So it wasn't done over an iPad. It wasn't done over that. It was done over a phone because there's no breaks in there. The dude gassed. I mean, this flow, a lot of people might think it's just generic, elementary, basic, regular Chicano rap. The flow is clean. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I heard it a few times and I was like, I don't care about their problems. I don't care about nothing. I'm just a fan of diss tracks, and I heard it and I was like, man, that slapped. The way he flowed, the way his melody was to the beat, to the RPMs, man, it was clean. I'll give him that. But that's all I'm gonna give him, because at the end of the day, you're targeting not only a person that you call your brother, but somebody that put you on, somebody that was helping you get money, somebody that got you going places, and your guys' personal beef couldn't get resolved behind closed doors or within politics or video warfare or video peace, whatever they guys want to do down there. You took it to social media, confronted the situation by dropping the diss track, knowing everybody was going to listen, everybody was going to speculate, everybody was going to just pretty much drag Mr. Criminal's name in the mud, because I seen the comment sections and a lot of people were automatically like, man, I knew Mr. Criminal was a snake. I knew he was a dirtbag. I know he was treating his artists like this. Like, how do we know? How do we know what's really going on behind closed doors? How do we know what's really going on with that record label? How do we know Mr. Criminal was just being a capitalist and capitalizing off his artists and just taking all the money for himself and these dudes weren't getting paid? We don't know none of that. So for everybody to speculate in the comment section like they always do, like, I just read it and I absorb it. I take it for face value. But at the end of the day, like, you're really going to put that jacket on somebody knowing how dangerous that label can be to people. Because there's been cases, and we've talked about them. There's social media content out there that verify it. I've said it plenty of times. Some people don't even need the paperwork. Some people just go off hearsay and pull triggers and pull up. Some people don't need to read it themselves. As long as they can trust you, as long as they grew up with you, as long as you're a homeboy from the hood and you say it, and he's known you for a very long time, your word is bond. Your word is gold. So to throw a snitch jacket on somebody that's this big, that's been a big voice, that's been a big influencer to the Southern community, to Southern Califas, to his fan base, to throw that jacket on him, you know, you're bringing, I want to call it bad juju, because unless paperwork surfaces and you can produce that kind of evidence, or sometimes, you know, people's minds in jail go crazy. To be honest with you, there might not even be paperwork. He could probably just feel like, man, dude might have outed me. He was the only one who knew. He was the only one who knew my whereabouts. He was the last person I told. He was the last person I talked to. And then all of a sudden, the all of a sudden part in your head will drive you crazy. And sometimes you'll believe your own lies. Sometimes you'll believe your own make-believe stories in your head. And then you start spreading it. Because all it takes is, hey, man, all of a sudden, bro. And it goes in the air. Somebody catches it. Yeah, all of a sudden adds fuel to the fire. And then they spread it. Hey, man, I talked to the homie, bro. You said Mr. Criminal was the last person you talked to. That's crazy, right? And it just goes. And next thing you know, Mr. Criminal was the one that got Diablo busted. He's the one that got Diablo caught up. Oh, now he ain't looking out for Diablo because Diablo's doing 80 years. Hey, bro, you're doing 80 years. You're doing 2 life sentences when you could have just whooped old boy and told him, hey, don't ever put hands on my sister again. Instead, you decided to pull a trigger and be the hardcore thug that you are. I mean, enjoy your prison time, man, like everybody else that's doing time for their crimes that they committed. And they don't want to be there, but they have no choice. You have no choice either. So overall, the diss song in itself, cool. What he's saying and how disrespectful he is, you guys go listen to it. All you got to do is look it up. It's very dangerous. And to put that on somebody, it's like the worst. When it comes to the gang culture, that's like the worst of the worst you can accuse somebody of, because, like I said, sometimes people don't need to read the paperwork. Sometimes people just go off that. And sometimes people just, they look at it like, oh, that's Mr. Criminal. He called him a tattletale. Hey, bro, if I down this fool, I'm finna be famous. Or the big homies might, you know what I mean, just look up to me for that. You know, if I down him, man, I'm going to be recognized, bro. I'm going to be hard to the core. And when I meet Diablo in prison, man, he's probably going to hook me up with a couple of assault balls on a package. You know, he probably get me on a track, too. We'll be in a cell rapping together on a cell phone. You know, all that lame stuff. So to do that to somebody, you know, you're putting somebody in an ugly predicament. Now, is Mr. Criminal going to respond? I doubt it. You know, he's a record label owner. And he is who he is, and he has changes, and he has goals, and he has objectives that he's trying to accomplish now. So I doubt he'll address this matter. If he does, he does, and we'll hear what he has to say. Me personally, you know, that's between them. But since they decided to air it out all over social media, since that's what social media is used for, We all got to hear it. Go listen to the diss track. I mean, overall, like I said, I'm not condoning and I'm not encouraging what they're talking about, the accusations, the allegations, none of that. I'm always just been a fan of diss songs. I listen to any diss song, just like I said, just for the lyricism. That's why I listen to battle rap like a lot. So just wanted to bring that story to you guys' attention. I think it's very unfortunate to call somebody that without producing paperwork, because rumors and social media, mix them together, it's going to spread like wildfire. And sometimes that defamation could do a lot more damage even without the proof, because people just run with what they hear. So thought I'd bring that story to you guys' attention. So with that being said, like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. Peace.